Local news that matters. This is KC24 News at 6.
He was an undocumented criminal, violent criminal, who was in our jails on a misdemeanor charge.
New details tonight on the suspect tied to a deadly crime spree. Officials saying tonight he never should have been on the streets. Good evening, I'm Evan Onstein.
And I'm Stephanie Barugian. Thank you for joining us. And we start with that continuing coverage. Officials with the Immigration, Customs and Enforcement say 36-year-old Gustavo Garcia was arrested on Thursday, days before he went on a shooting rampage in Tulare County. He was released the next day.
Our Pedro Quintana has been following this story. Pedro, the Tulare County Sheriff blames a new California law for making this crime spree even possible.
Yeah, Gustavo Garcia was picked up by police for being under the influence of controlled substance. Sheriff Boudreaux says SB 54, the sanctuary state law, keeps his office from recognizing the detainer hold. He says ICE agents needed an arrest warrant signed by a federal judge to hold Garcia in custody. Tulare County Sheriff Mike Boudreaux frustrated with Senate Bill 54. The sanctuary state law prevents local law enforcement from working with federal government when it comes to immigration holds. ICE did issue a detainer on 36-year-old Gustavo Garcia just hours before he was released.
The state law is missing a component, and that component is us working together with our Immigration Enforcement Customs Enforcement agency. That tool has been removed.
According to an ICE spokesperson, Garcia was deported twice from the country, once in 2004 and in 2014. He did spend 27 months in federal prison for re-entering the country before being deported in 2014. ICE spokesperson goes on to say, this deadly rampage could have been prevented if ICE had been notified of his release. This is an unfortunate and extremely tragic example of how public safety is impacted with laws or policies limiting local law enforcement agencies' ability to cooperate with ICE. On Wednesday, the sheriff's office saying deputies did arrest Garcia just days before he went on a crime spree.
He was an undocumented criminal, violent criminal, who was in our jails on a misdemeanor charge. That maybe, just maybe, if we could have reached out to our law enforcement counterpart, that these acts of violence could have been prevented.
And Sheriff Boudreaux tells me his office supports DACA and Dreamers. What he does not support is putting violent criminals back into the community. The sheriff says he's open on talking to state lawmakers, see if they could work on changing the law to help local law enforcement work with ICE. In the studio, Pedro Quintana, KC24 Local News That Matters.